I also know that, being a survivor and having undergone traumatic experiences, it's difficult for survivors of trauma to trust others. Sometimes it's difficult for them to trust themselves just because of all the damage that's been done emotionally. And safety is a huge concern for survivors. So I think that with Climb, Heal, Overcome, the community that we build can offer some feelings of safety.
Welcome to Inside the Line, the Catskills.
All right, so let's begin. We are recording now. My name is Stosh of Inside the Line, the Catskills. I'm here with my friend Bhakti Perez. Did I say that right?
You did?
Excellent. Bhakti Perez runs a place called Climb.Heal.Overcome. We will get to that later. It's very awesome organization that she is building, and I am looking forward to her stories and her time with me tonight because it is just fabulous what she's doing. So, Bhakti, are you having anything to drink tonight?
I am actually. I am having a Lawson's Sip of Sunshine.
Ooh, what is that like? Just regular beer? IPA?
It's an IPA, yeah, from Maine actually. It's a hefty one. But yeah, it's delicious. David actually discovered it when he did the Long Trail, when he did his through hike of the Long Trail. It was one of his staples.
Excellent, excellent. I'm having a water because we just seriously got settled in probably like a half an hour ago up here. And just to let everybody know, I'm up in the Finger Lakes right now recording. So this is like weird. It's just different. We had trouble getting everything set up, but Bhakti is here, and I am excited. Any previous hikes you've been on? I know actually David sent me pictures of you guys were in Colorado.
Yeah, we were actually just in Colorado last week. We did our first multi-pitch climb of the third Flatiron, which was it was technically an easy climb. The hard parts were rated at about a 5.4, but it was definitely lots of exposure, more than I've done before, higher than I've ever done before, obviously. So yeah, there's definitely a learning curve and lots of different components that we needed to consider, but it was a blast. It was a really good time.
Excellent. So I'm guessing with the exposure and stuff, did you guys have to like hook into any time with some carabiners and stuff and rope each other up?
Oh yeah, so the Flatiron climb was multi-pitch. So we did harnesses, helmets, climbing shoes, the whole nine. We needed carabiners. Our guide was placing gear, building anchors, all that stuff.
Wow. How many feet were you up?
Oh God, I think I may be mistaken, but I think the entire gain was about 1,000 feet in 8 pitches. Yeah, so we would, climb. I would belay the guide from the bottom, and he would place his gear and climb up, build his anchor to bring all of us up, do the same thing all over again, hook into that anchor, belay him up, and we did that 8 times.
What was the maximum feet that you gained on that? Like total summit?
For that one Flatiron climb.
Yeah, the highest.
Oh, well, the highest we actually did the highest in Colorado. We did Mount Albert.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, I believe that was 14,433.
Oh,
Yeah, so that was one of our goals. One of our niche goals as peak baggers is to high point the 50 states. So we were there, so we had to tag the highest point in the state.
how many have you tagged?
I think we have maybe 13,
Wow.
somewhere between 12 and 13, but we're working on it.
You're in the double digits. That's insane.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it wasn't too difficult to get most of like New England squared away, aside from Katahdin. But yeah, the other ones were kind of just done in our normal visits up to the areas.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah, we also did we did Torrey's Peak, so we did the Grays and Torrey's Loop, but we went up Torrey's Peak via the Kelso Ridge route, and that involved a lot of Class 3 scrambling at very high altitudes, and also involved a knife edge. That was the first time that I've ever had to do anything of that exposure, and it was terrifying, but I think it was a good team building experience.
Yeah, those knife edges are no joke.
Yeah, yeah. Especially when you're just like, I was literally straddled on the thing and just scooting my way through.
Oh man. Did you know about this beforehand?
Oh, of course, yeah. So we went with two of our friends, and we were all kind of studying the route because this was definitely one of the more tougher things that we've done. So we wanted to make sure we got the best beta, and we studied the route just to make sure that our route finding efforts were successful.
Excellent. That's some crazy stuff. I can't. You guys are every picture David sends me is just absolutely phenomenal, and I'm just like, oh my God, they're at it again.
Like you guys are out of
Yeah,
your minds.
yeah. I'm over here climbing like a 4,000 foot mountain. You guys like, hey, we're at 14,000 feet.
You know what though? The gains are similar. It's not like I'm gaining 14,000 feet in my hike. The altitude
Yeah,
is definitely something to be considering, especially because it's the drier air and the thinner air definitely added to the difficulty of it. But if you lined up the numbers between mileage and elevation gain, some of the hikes were very similar to like a big Adirondack day or even a big New Hampshire day.
that's awesome. I'm glad you guys are out there doing this and kicking ass. It's very cool to see.
It's definitely a blast doing it.
Yeah, I could only imagine. Um, so yeah, I just went on Balsam Lake Mountain on Tuesday, so that was very nice. A beautiful day to get out.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite fire tower, especially in the winter, like when it's all fluffy with the snow. I think that's my favorite one.
Yeah, that's definitely a the view up there is phenomenal because you get a lot of just 360 view and you can see almost every range I think out there. So just a peak of every range. So it was a beautiful hike. I mean, it's not that difficult. I had a great time and I enjoyed the fall weather stuff starting to fall up there. So it's really it's getting that feeling of it's fall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely get it up there sooner than we get it down here. We're still swimming in humidity over here.
Yeah, we got up in the Finger Lakes here. It's like 70 degrees, but the wind is like 30 miles an hour constant, so it's nice and cool.
Oh, it's probably glorious.
It is. It's very nice. So we'll go on to the Catskill news. The only news I have is another hiker was rescued off of Cornell Mountain. I think it was like 2 days ago.
Yeah, I heard about that. What was the deal with that?
I don't know the details, but the guy said I remember seeing it on Facebook too, and he said he broke his knee or something like that. They
Hmm.
airlifted him off of I believe it's the west facing side of Cornell where the rock was.
Wow.
They got him above the crack and they moved him to the other side.
Oof.
So he said he's all right, he's fine. So it was pretty funny to see somebody say something on Facebook and all of a sudden he's like, "That's me."
Yeah, yeah. Actually, you know what? I think I did see that thread. I think I did see that thread where it was like, "It's me. I'm okay now," which is great because that can be terrifying, just being
Yeah,
out there.
and then plus he when he responded, there was like no shame. So
Oh
everybody's like,
yeah,
"Okay, you're cool."
yeah, definitely. I mean, hey, you called for help. That's
Yeah, yeah, that's the second one in a couple weeks actually. It's been 3 weeks I think.
wow.
So, yeah. But hey, stuff happens, and instead of trying to get himself out, he called for help, and they responded quickly. The Rangers did a great job. We were on standby, so we were getting ready to go, and I was like, I can't go. I got to go to Finger Lakes. So
I mean, hey, that's why people like you exist, right? To help people in need.
exactly, and I'm excited at one time, and then I'm terrified at the other time because the person is hurt, injured. So I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, and that's probably all I got for any news. So let's get into the Catskills history that I like to do every time. So our Catskills history today is once again of a great hotel that existed in the Catskills called the Kaaterskill Hotel. A lot of people probably have been here because it's on an easy hike right along the escarpment on South Mountain. Easy to get to. There's nothing really left except for like a basin and stuff like that, maybe a little bit of foundation. But it's open area that you can tell that something was there. So we're going to give a little history of what it was like, how it started, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. So the Catskills Hotel, sometimes also called Hotel Catskills in the 1800s, was originally built in 1981 by George Harding. Later we'll go on why he built it, and it's an amazing, hilarious story. It was located on the summit of South Mountain. It originally had 600 rooms, and later he expanded it to 1,200 rooms. It was one of the largest hotels in the United States in the 1800s. Phenomenal view up top of Kaaterskill Clove. Everything was cut down, so the hotel people had a view facing, I believe it's southeast of the Clove and of the Hudson Valley. So it was an amazing view, and I couldn't even imagine what that looked like. On the backside of the hotel, patrons had another outstanding view of North South Lake and North Mountain, which is another awesome spot. So being on top of South Mountain, they're getting almost a 360-degree view of the Catskills, which is awesome. He built the Caaterskill Hotel at a staggering $1.5 million, which on its day was an amazing amount of money. Today, probably that would be over 50 million. I think I updated that from the website I got this from. It used to be at like 35 million. I think it was like 1980s when this was researched. So talk about inflation.
Yeah.
Yeah. The hotel even had its own U.S. zip code, which is pretty cool. I don't know anything about that. Through the years of operation, the hotel had the famous visitors like Oscar Wilde, Lillian Landry, Ulysses S. Grant, and President Chester A. Arthur. There were visitors from every major city in the world, and it made it one of the most magnificent hotels in the world. It was probably expensive because of its size and because of its location. I guarantee it had to be. If you go look it up on the Catskill Mountaineer website, they have a great write up about the hotel and pictures. It's amazing. So what we're going to get into next is why he built it. So this is almost about as famous as the Kaaterskill Hotel, the way it was built. In 1980, George Harding was vacationing in the Catskill Mountain House near the North-South Lake in the Catskill Mountains. Most of you know that this is right off of the North-South Lake area. There's a big, huge open flat area. That's where the Catskill Mountain House existed. Beautiful place. At the time, they were only serving roast beef, and Mr. Harding demanded that the waiter bring his daughter some fried chicken. The waiter refused to bring them fried chicken, and after a heated debate, the owner of the Catskill Mountain House, who was Charles Beach at that time, was called in to settle the dispute. And still, George Harding would not hear the denial of his request. Finally, Charles Beach told George Harding that if he wanted fried chicken, he should build his own hotel. And at that time, George checked out of the Catskill Mountain House and started planning on building a bigger, better hotel, which is insane. Talk about I don't even know what to say, like temper tantrum.
That's spitefulness right there.
Yeah, that's just like, fine, I'll do this. He purchased a large tract of land less than a mile from the Catskill Mountain House. I think it's even less than a half a mile. It's right next to it on the summit of South Mountain. The following year, which is amazing that a 600-room hotel can be built in a year, especially in the 1800s, he opened the Catskills Hotel. The competition between Beach and Harding became well known as the Fried Chicken War, which is that sounds fun.
That's fantastic.
KFC and Bojangles.
Yeah.
Feud between the two ego-driven men lasted until the death of both men in 1902. So that's pretty interesting piece of Catskill history. There are two stories of how the Kaaterskill Hotel burned. On the evening of September 11th, 1924, workers were cleaning the kitchen, and that's how they started the fire. A second story also says that the workers were making soap, and that's how it caught fire. The fire spread very quickly and burned the hotel with several standby buildings. Witnesses also stated that within 2 hours, the hotel was a white hot fire pit. Back in the 1800s, everything was built of dry wood, so I can see that happening. And then probably all the fried chicken oil was probably stored somewhere, and that probably ignited everything because
Yeah.
everybody wanted fried chicken at the time, apparently.
Fried chicken came back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah, it seems like it. The fire was so massive that it could be seen from Connecticut and Massachusetts, which is insane. But I got to admit, that's a clear view of the Catskills, so you could probably see a lot from there.
Mm-hmm.
The owner at the time, Mrs. Henry Tannenbaum, had left the afternoon for New Jersey and returned when she learned that her hotel was burning. The sprinkler system was installed the previous years, and it's amidst the fire spread so quickly that the sprinkler system could not overcome the fast-growing fire. The hotel was only insured for $150,000 at the time. Yikes! So they lost. What did I say? It was built for $5 million. It's probably $4.75 million. That's about a big loss.
That's huge, especially back then.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine $4 million back in the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
$4 million right now is still pretty high.
Oh yeah.
Check out the Catskill Mountaineer webpage for amazing pictures and even more information about that hotel. The pictures are phenomenal. They show a lot from the interior of the hotel, the exterior, and how people got up to the hotel, which is actually phenomenal. Some of the trails exist because of that hotel. Bhakti has been on one of those trails. It's called the Harding Trail. That leads up to that was usually going up to the South Mountain Hotel. So I know Bhakti has been on there because she has been climbing where I was climbing last week.
Indeed.
Right? You went up to Indian Head, the overlooks?
Yeah.
Did you guys go from the Route 23A?
To Indian Head?
Yeah, the Indian Head overlooks.
Yeah, I think that was the way we went up when we did Indian Head after, like the week after we got married, we went up to the Catskills, and that was the
Nice.
route that we took.
Yeah, that's old-fashioned road that led up to the Palinville Overlook, and then it also led up to the Indian Head Overlook, and then it went straight up to the Kaaterskill Hotel. So it was
Yes.
still there, still running.
Oh, you know what? Actually, we were there recently.
Yeah, you sent me climbing pictures.
Yeah. We were there. Yeah. We did. We found the crag there, and we were climbing up by the Palinville Overlook. Yes.
Yeah.
Now I'm remembering.
It's a hell of an area.
Oh yeah. It was insane. Like it's like tucked away, but it's beautiful.
It's up to date as well too, and that's what we found. We found all that stuff, and we are like, oh wow, this is pretty good up to date climbing.
Mm-hmm. So a little chossy, but
So I'll have to go there sometime.
yeah, you'll have to come out with us. Now that you incriminated yourself and we know you have the gear.
I have that. I gotta admit, doing that. I did my first rappelling this week, everybody. So it was very fun and very crazy at the same time. Luckily, I had a great instructor that pushed me over the ledge to make me feel that first drop in it. It was just like nothing after that.
That's the most terrifying part, is just getting yourself off the first little drop off. Leaning back basically is the scariest part.
Yep, and that's what I was doing. I was hesitating. He's just like, here, and he just pushed me, and I was like, oh, that's it.
Yep.
It was awesome. After that, I was hooked, and I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to do this again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go with you guys, definitely.
Good. Yeah, it's scary when you can't feel the tension initially because you feel like if you fall back, you're just going to keep falling. But then once you feel that tension on your harness, you're like, okay.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I can't believe, like, I was hesitating for so long, and I was just like, oh wow, this is nothing.
I mean, it's a rational
But
fear, so I wouldn't beat yourself up about it.
yeah, it was only like 150 feet.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the topic of the night, which is Bhakti's business. Would you call it a business?
A nonprofit organization.
So her nonprofit organization called Climb.Heal.Overcome. Bhakti is here to explain. I got questions for her. Explain Climb, Heal, Overcome. It's amazing once you hear the story of the organization and what they do. It's very absolutely phenomenal, and I support 100% of it. So, Bhakti, introduce yourself.
I'm Bhakti Perez. I am the founder and president of Climb.Heal.Overcome, avid peak bagger, new rock climber, overall adventurer, I guess. That about sums it up.
She's been everywhere. I get pictures. I'm friends with them on Facebook. This is the first time I've met Bhakti face to face, even over the internet. So I've gotten pictures from them everywhere. I actually was very fortunate to be their spotter when they were climbing Mount St. Helens.
Yeah, we were very, very grateful to have you tracking our Garmin.
Yeah, I was on the edge that whole time. I'm sitting there watching the whole thing, and I'm just like, oh crap, they're like on the glacier now. I'm like, oh crap, they're getting close. But this is the first time I've met her, and then I learned about Climb, Heal, Overcome, and I was blown away. So, Baki, what is Climb, Heal, Overcome?
So, Climb Heal Overcome is a nonprofit organization, and our mission is to provide support and healing from sexual and domestic abuse through community and epic outdoor adventure. Our main goal is to create outdoor adventure programs where survivors can utilize nature in their healing process, and by also incorporating mental health professionals and outdoor adventure specialists, we want to help people curate the journey to empowerment and recovery from these awful traumatic experiences.
Excellent. That is amazing. So, if you're okay talking about it, what happened in the past that made you create this? If you don't have to talk about this, of course.
Oh no, thank you for asking. I actually think it's important to kind of it's a good step in the recovery process to be able to talk about these things. So it makes me feel good that I'm at that level. So I am a survivor of childhood sex abuse, and it was uh, something with an extended family member that occurred throughout a number of years of my childhood. And the trauma from that has really just impacted my overall life development, relationships. And back in, this was only a few years ago actually, I had a very major depressive episode in 2018, and I had a great support system, friends, family, just encouraged me to go, seek therapy, get help. They wanted me to feel better. And my therapist was actually the one, and my best friend, the two of them were the ones that encouraged me to rediscover my love for nature, because there was a point, the leading up to it, the leading up to that episode was me not having any sort of outdoor experiences for quite, I think it had been like a year that I didn't have outdoor experiences. I was overworked. I was just loss of purpose. And so I did, after one of my sessions, I decided to go do the Sterling Fire Tower. I figured it was something straightforward. It was something easy and it was actually the first solo hike that I have ever done. David and I had, discovered hiking and adventuring together. So we learned together how to navigate and read maps and plan trips and stuff like that. But there was something a little more empowering in the individual aspect of it, in being able to navigate it on your own. So I did. I went and I did, I think it was like 4 miles, but 4 miles by yourself when you've never done that before is scary, and I think it was kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I agree.
And then after that, went out and did Breakneck Ridge in an afternoon in the Hudson Highlands, and then it just kind of spiraled from there. I did Anthony's Nose, and then my big one was when I did Twin Mountain in the Catskills. And that was the Catskills, honestly, that hike was where I had worked up doing solo hikes up to doing Twin Mountain, but that was when I realized, because the Catskills was where David and that's what the mountains that we cut our teeth on. That's where, we were engaged. We were all the special warm and fuzzies kind of came back when I had summited Twin on my own. So that kind of, after adventuring after that, it kind of inspired a feeling of healing. And I felt like just my solo work that then also contributed to my adventures with people and, David, obviously, I guess I was able to recognize how much it had contributed to my healing process at that point. Because for years and years and years and years, I was not focusing on overcoming, the feelings of trauma and the ramifications of it. So I felt like I was lucky enough that I had a partner who we were able to learn and navigate together, but not everybody has that opportunity. And I wanted to create some sort of structure or some kind of programming to offer so we can teach people to then be confident to go out and do it on their own, if that makes sense.
Well, that makes perfect sense. That's amazing. I agree. Hiking solo does take a lot of courage. It also brings you one with yourself and for nature and with nature. And I love hiking solo, and I gotta admit that does bring you to yourself and your senses, and to me it calms me down a lot going solo. I don't know if that does that to you. It shuts you down and makes you feel with nature.
Yeah, it does. Obviously I think it depends on how you're going into it, or like what you want to get out of it. Cause I know that I've been on solo hikes where I'm away, nothing can get to me. This is great, and you're feeling all free and then I've also been on solo hikes where it's grueling and you're mentally just like having a battle with yourself. And I know that I think the devil in a day was one of my constant battles with my own psyche for the entire Devil's Path that whole day.
Oh yeah.
And I know that's common, but when you're actually in the moment and experiencing it, it's life changing. So I also know that, being a survivor and having undergone traumatic experiences, it's difficult for survivors of trauma to trust others. Sometimes it's difficult for them to trust themselves just because of all the damage that's been done emotionally. And safety is a huge concern for survivors. So I think that with Climb.Heal.Overcome, the community that we build can offer some feelings of safety.
Excellent. So now with Climb, Heal, Overcome, is it just involved with women, or is it also men and also other genders as well?
So it is, we are not limited to just women. It is open to all gender identities. And we are actually working on programs that are geared towards, specific groups, because that's also, like I said, safety. There's a feeling of security. So if you feel like you're within a community of your own, there's a larger rate of success.
That sounds perfect. So couple questions, like when somebody signs up for Climb, Heal, Overcome, and they want to go out, I presume you guys are like one of you of the organization is going to take them out and show them nature. Is that correct?
So yeah, we're still very much in our infancy. So we are working on quite a few different programs. We've piloted a few of them, and we also have a lot of licensed guides that are have offered to volunteer their time to put into these programs, which is great because, as you know, New York is like our closest place to adventure, and we need the licensure to do that. So one of our pilot programs was actually a camp and climb in Maryland for Annapolis Rocks. So
Nice.
yeah, so we basically went down there. We hiked in, we set up camp, we did some knot and anchor building exercises, and did some climbing. So yeah, basically we're still in the piloting stage right now in creating the programs, in execute trying to, mock execute them in real time so we can work on our time management and our itinerary and stuff like that.
That is awesome. So it's not just hiking. Actually, it's involved with camping and rock climbing and other stuff. Correct?
Yeah, so we incorporate hiking, climbing, paddling, and biking. Actually, if it's on a mountain or in the water, we're doing it.
That's awesome. That's a great way to heal. I've heard many people healing stories of going out and doing the mountains or the Catskill 3500 or stuff like that. It's a goal, and that's very good for people to have a goal and to accomplish that, and they feel like a different person. So that is amazing what you got to do. So what is like? I know you said you are. What are you again of Climb.Heal.Overcome?
The founder and the president, yeah.
Do you take people on adventures as well? Take
We, yeah, I have, like in the pilot program, I've led couple of hikes in the Hudson Highlands. Like we've done Lamb's Hill and we've done Anthony's Nose from the old AT route. So yeah, it's definitely been fun. Part of our sunset hike up Anthony's Nose was also to have a support group. It was like a type of a support group type setting. So we sat around in a circle. We talked about the importance of safe spaces and just, tried to make people feel comfortable because that's also important. There's going to be a lot of mental health type exercises that are incorporated into these programs just because, like I said, with trauma survivors, triggers are a thing. Getting overstressed is a thing, and that's definitely something that can happen when you're hiking uphill and things are strenuous, or there's a really daunting long walk back to the car. It all plays very mentally, and so the mental health aspect of it is definitely key in the healing process and just the entire journey.
Absolutely, definitely. I can't disagree with any of that. I mean, I said, sometimes it helps people, sometimes it doesn't, because, like you said, there could be a daunting walk back, and all of a sudden, you are getting these thoughts in your head,
Mm-hmm.
and they can't escape. So definitely, there are good benefits and there are bad benefits. So, but you guys are there to help them out, to guide them, which is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. Actually, the seven of us who are part of the board are all going through, we're all going through advocacy training. So basically, it's teaching us how to handle a situation if someone was to be in crisis during a hike or any sort of activity, how to approach it, how to, resolve it, and when to know if you need professionals to come intervene, how to tell survivors what their rights are, things like that. So I think that's something that's extremely important, and it will be very beneficial for all of us to have in order to support survivors the best that we can.
Yeah. So basically, you're following the book.
Yes, we're trying.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way to go about it.
Yes.
I mean, that's the way every organization can go about it. No shortcuts or anything like that. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
With you doing Climb, Heal, Overcome, how good are the results of bringing like women and other people into nature and showing them? I mean, are they fascinated most of the time, or is it like a 50-50 on the first try? I mean, it doesn't have to be about the first try, of course.
Yeah, so like I said, we've done a couple of pilot programs, and as like so far it's been very positive. Obviously, there's always the uphill grind where
Yeah.
you hear why am I here? What are we doing? Are we there yet? And then, you get to the top and there's this beautiful overlook or outcropping, a lot of, like I said, we do a lot of stuff in the Hudson Highlands, so overlooking the river, overlooking Bear Mountain Bridge, and then they just kind of forget that they were asking if we were there yet. Yeah,
One of the big things I say on the way up is, "Why the hell am I doing this?"
yeah. Oh, every time. It's a cycle. It's like, start hike. Why the hell am I doing this? Oh, thank God I'm back to the car. Go out for food and beers and plan your next hike.
Yep, reminisce of the time and then plan it again.
Plan it again. That's the cycle. We are creatures of habit. So yeah, actually, when you were asking about the effects and the results of CHO, I had actually reached out to the board on what they thought of how have we made a difference, how do you think we're going to make a difference. And one of our board members, Sarah, I love that woman to death. She said that a great story to share with you would be how we've already helped 7 women, include as in us, the board, because we all came together in a time where the future was uncertain. I don't think I mentioned this before, but this is a pandemic project. The,
Oh,
yeah.
so how long have you guys been at this?
So we
I forgot to
were
ask that.
yeah we were officially 501c3 in January of this year.
Awesome.
So yeah, so this is a 2021 COVID project. We started brainstorming in May of last year. So between May of last year and January of this year, we all pulled together and we're grinding and we were filling out papers and all the fun stuff, for formality stuff that goes into establishing an organization. But basically her feedback to me was, we came together in a time where the future was uncertain and the world was in a scary place. So CHO has actually given us all an outlet to stay positive and productive during the pandemic, and that's actually helped our mental health. So we've been able to come together as friends and create a support system and grow and become stronger women, which I then think will hopefully, the goal is to transfer all of that energy to the community of CHO.
Hell yes, that's perfect. That is that's amazing progress in that short amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, these women that I work with are superheroes.
Now you say it's Sarah. Is that Sarah Bacon? Do I know her?
No, this is Sarah Tidwell. She's an old friend of mine. But Sarah Bacon, actually, also a superhero, was nice enough to offer her time to us. So we're going to be working with her in the near future.
Good. I got an interview with her, so I'll ask her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. That is once again that's amazing what's going on and what you're doing. That's awesome. You are guys doing it really fast, which is good because the world needs it. The world needs more love and support.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking forward to taking the scenic route with Bacon.
Excellent, excellent. So any great stories do you have with Climb.Heal.Overcome as of yet? This short amount of time.
I mean, we're very close to launching one of our programs soon. I'm actually just waiting on our next meeting to put together the final details of it. We do have a yoga fundraiser coming up next week, and we'll have the details out on that on the website soon and on our Facebook and Instagram.
Excellent. Instagram. Yeah, that's that. I mean, that was going to be the next question. How do you get involved? What can you get involved with? Of course, you can have donors, which, anybody wants to donate to Climb, Heal, Overcome, please do it. But how do they reach you?
Sure. So can always feel free to support through climbhealovercome.org/donate. There are several different ways to contribute to us on that page, including PayPal if you want to buy merch, if you want to donate used or new gear. All of those links are on climbhealovercome.org/donate. You can reach our business Facebook page, facebook.com/climbhealovercome. And you can look out for all of the fancy, beautiful posts that are created by our graphic designer, Christy Jados, who's an angel. I don't know how we were so lucky to find her, but on Instagram at climb.heal.overcome.
It's all about karma. That's what I think.
Yeah.
You guys are putting good karma and out in the world, and then the good karma comes back to you. So you guys got an amazing group, amazing group.
Yeah, every last one of them.
So once again, as Bhakti said, search on Facebook and their website for them and reach out to them if you want to donate, or if you want to, climb, heal, and overcome. If you have any problems, I guarantee they will help you out with anything, because this is a great movement that's going on. This is fantastic. Getting people out in nature really does heal you. So please, if anybody's listening that does listen, 3 or 4 people that listen probably, that's what I always say. Contact Climb, Heal, Overcome. So also, Baki, any personal scary moments you've had on the trail? I always ask people this.
So do you want I picked out a few. Do you want
Go right ahead. Anyone?
do you want scary scary? Do you want hilarious scary? Or
Both.
Okay.
I'm a funny guy. So I'll take both.
So the one that includes both is going to be, my husband's going to kill me for this, but the time my husband almost killed me on the escarpment trail, which was also the weekend he planned to propose.
Oh man.
So we had planned this trip because, I mean, obviously the whole reason for this podcast, the Catskills are very special to us. It was actually, the Catskills is actually where we first vacationed together for the first time. We were super newbies, so we kind of drove up to different trailheads on the escarpment, and then hiked out to Newman's Ledge, and then hiked back, and then hiked out to Kaaterskill Falls, hiked back, drove. So David's brilliant idea, as we became more mature hikers, was let's do a romantic through hike of the escarpment trail. So we'll do the whole entire trail, cover all of it in a weekend. So one overnight. Seemed pretty straightforward, simple. I was down. So we look at the weather, and it's absolute crap that weekend. It was 40 degrees, wet, cold. It was freezing. He decided that that's the weekend he's proposing to me. So we went. I was getting over a cold, and I am coughing up a lung. I just remember also slipping and sliding because it was raining, and everything was socked in. I remember slipping and sliding, going up Blackhead Mountain. Why are we here? What are we doing? You really couldn't wait for another weekend to do this. Now we're camping. We're all soaked. We finally get to this little area on Arizona Mountain, and we drop our stuff and decide that we're gonna put up our tent there and settle there for the night. So we thought it was going to be a quick group effort, get the tent up, get into dry clothes. I could not hold things in my hands because they were so cold. Like I could not grasp
Oh.
things. So I couldn't touch any of the clasps on the tent and like hook anything on, put anything together because I literally just could not hold things in my hands. So poor David gets the tent up by himself, get into dry clothes. Luckily, we warmed up pretty quickly because we cooked dinner, we had a hot dinner, we warmed up quickly. But prior to that, I really thought we were going to die of hypothermia. So,
by the way, everybody, if you're listening, those are not the times to hike when it's cold and raining.
No, definitely not. So then the next day did a 180. We get out of the tent. We were on this beautiful ledge of Arizona Mountain. Everything was clear. The view was beautiful. So mind you, this is also a story how either one of or both of us could have died. David goes out to take a picture and he slips on a tree root off the ledge and is like holding on for dear life and climbs back up. So meanwhile, like I have no idea what his entire plan was. So we get over to Inspiration Point.
Ah, yep.
Or was it Newman's Ledge?
I remember you told me it was Inspiration Point.
Now I'm going to get in trouble because I can't remember. I think it was Inspiration Point. So we get there and we're taking selfies, whatever. We decide to stop there for lunch. And then poor dude was so nervous. He's like, come take a selfie with me. I'm like, that's literally what we just did that. Like, that's what we did when we got here. And he's like, no, let's take another one. And he gets down, on his knees and he proposes, gives me the ring. And the only word that could come out of my mouth was like, escarpment trail. This is the entrapment trail. Like, we had a 12-mile hike back. That would have been extremely awkward. But yeah, so that's the scary funny story of how we both almost died, but then just ended up getting married.
Well then, I guess that's a good test of marriage.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If she can do this during the cold rain, which is something I would never do, she can be my wife. So
oh yeah, good. Yep, exactly. If she can do this, borderline suffering from bronchitis and potentially hypothermia, we lived. It's meant to be.
And then you guys go out and climb Mount St. Helens and 14,000-foot mountains now. So I think you're good.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Nice. Yeah. So that's amazing. So I don't know if you have anything else. Do you have anything else to say?
Did you want another scary story?
Yeah. This is the scary story now.
This just recently happened. So it was like kind of mind-boggling to me. But not mind-boggling actually. It was just it was scary. It was so when we did the climb of the Flatiron, our guide was placing the gear to hook the rope into as he was climbing up. And this was on the very, very last pitch before we summited. And it was a very short pitch, so he didn't really need to place any gear if he didn't have to, because he was kind of able to walk up the face of it. But he ended up just taking a sling and like putting it around a horn of a rock and putting the rope through. And then I was the next one to climb after him. And this was the hardest part of the climb because it was extremely slabby. It was smooth rock. There was nothing to like hold on to. So I was like using my palms and trying to like shove my feet into the tiniest little nubs that I could find. And I look up and this sling is just like floating on the rock. It's no longer around the horn.
Mm-hmm.
And it was totally fine because our guide was already at the summit and he was belaying from the top. Like he was at a good belay stance, but like for any reason, he just put that there for like an extra security measure. But as you're climbing on your last few steps, just seeing that and knowing you had a few more feet left to go to the summit and you couldn't screw up, or at least you thought you couldn't screw up, I was just mortified. And then I get to the top and just start cracking up laughing like a mad woman because it was so terrifying.
You didn't crack up on him?
No, because I knew in the back of my mind that like all of the security measures he put in place and his belay technique and, you know, his entire setup, I knew it was legit, but it was just that like initial mind fuck of seeing a piece of gear just floating.
Basically, you would probably be saying, "Oh, look at that."
Yeah, exactly. So it was just all of the emotions at one time and then realizing you're fine.
And how many feet up were you, I'm guessing?
That was, so I think the summit of that third flat iron is above 7. It might be close to 8. I think it's in the 7s. But the climb, the vertical climb that we did was about 1,000 feet a gain.
Wow. That is definitely one of a what the fuck kind of moment.
Oh yeah, it was.
I would have went up to him and probably said that was against OSHA regulations.
Yeah, right. And I'm pretty sure that I heard David behind me because he was on a team with one of our other friends, and I'm pretty sure he was like, "Oh shit, I think she saw it."
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It's cool. It's cool.
That's awesome. Amazing. I can't wait to hear more stories when you guys are climbing the other places that you want to go in the high points of the.
Yeah, you got to come with us.
I'll think about it.
You can do it.
I haven't even done the high point in New York State yet.
I thought you've been to Marcy.
No, I haven't.
Oh.
We went and did Mount Van Hoevenberg, and we did Goodnow Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it in the Adirondacks. It's just the drive up there and then the drive back is I got to figure out days off to get up there.
You need more than, I mean, we've tried to jam pack a weekend, but you do need more than that if you want to get a decent amount in.
Yeah, I'll get there.
You will. Marcy's cake. You.
I've heard.
Yeah, it's not like anything crazy.
Well, excellent. Thank you for those awesome experiences. It's a good laugh and a good what the fuck kind of moment.
Yep.
So, once again, we're gonna be closing this out tonight. I think we're at about an hour of recording, maybe a little bit over. So that's pretty good. I'd like to thank Bhakti for joining us and sharing info about Climb.Heal.Overcome. Please contact Bhakti if you want to donate or do anything with Climb.Heal.Overcome. If you want to get out your current life that is not well with you, contact Climb.Heal.Overcome. They have a website. They have a Facebook page. Do you guys have an Instagram?
We do. Instagram is at Climb.Heal.Overcome.
Awesome. So look up Climb.Heal.Overcome on almost any platform, and you can definitely find them. Bhakti, once again, thank you for coming out tonight. This was awesome. It was great to hear. Definitely a different side of climbing that I haven't been involved with, but I'm excited. I was glad to do this.
Yeah, thanks for thinking of me and the invite. I'm honored.
Hopefully, more people will listen. Hopefully, actually, I'm going to thank my sponsor, OER Outdoor Equipment Metals. If you want to have some gear, I don't know if he's ever listened to this. I haven't gotten feedback from him, but I'm going to do this every podcast until he helps me out. He is a fellow STAR member, and he owns a outdoor equipment rentals. You can get micro spikes, personal locator beacons, GoPros, safety vest for when you're out in the Colorado Rockies and you haven't caught an avalanche. He has everything. So once again, contact Outdoor Equipment Rentals. I'll check them out online. Bhakti, thanks for joining me.
Thank you. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Anytime, it was my pleasure. I'd like to thank everyone for listening. Subscribe and get a hold of me if you want to donate, which you don't need to do. Just listen, please. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night. Good night, Baki.
Good night.